السلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الأطيبين الأنجبين، بهم نتولى ومن أعدائهم نتبرأ إلى الله. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا، حتى تسكنه أرضك توغى وتمتعه فيها طويلا. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. أيها الناس اتقوا الله. I invite myself and you all to taqwa, to be God-weary, to be mindful of His commands in all walks of life. We were discussing the khutbah of Muttaqeen of Amir al-Mu'mineen Salamullah alayh from Nahj al-Balagha, and quite a few sentences from that khutbah were touched. And it was mentioned, Imam, when he wants to define the qualities of Muttaqeen, he said that وَأَمَّا اللَّيْلِ فَصَافُونَ أَقْدَامَهُمْ تَعْلِينَ لِأَجْزَاءِ الْقُرْآنِ. Muttaqeen, the pious, they are those when the night falls, they occupy in the recitation of the Quran. شب هنگام بر پای خود به نماز می ایستند و آیات قرآن را شمرده و با تدبر می خوانند. Tartil means to recite Quran as it is the command and the instruction of Allah to Rasulullah, وَرَتِّلِ الْقُرْآنَ تَرْتِيلًا. That is, you recite Quran slowly, that is shimurde wa tadabbur. So among the qualities of this muttaqeen are that at night they wake up, they rise, they recite Quran, they occupy themselves in worship. يُحَزِّنُونَ بِهِ أَنفُسَهُمْ وَيَسْتَثِيرُونَ بِهِ دَوَاءَ دَائِهِمْ. And at night, these mu'mineen, these muttaqeen, they are sad. Why are they sad? The reason for their huzn is that they are worried as to whether or not they have performed their duty. آیا وظایفشون را انجام داده‌اند یا نه؟ نگران اینند. پس داشتن این حزن هم یک صفت خوبی است. حزن نه به معنی اینکه آدم همش ناراحت باشه. نه، حزن یعنی مؤمنین را وقتی میبینید اینا خوشحالن، بشاشن به ظاهر، ولی در درونشون نگرانن. آیا اون وظیفهشون که بوده انجام داده شد یا نه؟ So when you look at mu'mineen, you see that they are gleeful, they are smiley, they are happy. But in reality, that is not the case. Within themselves, they are always worried as to whether or not they have fulfilled the commands of the Almighty Allah or not. That was at night. Now these muttaqeen, وَأَمَّا النَّهَارِ فَحُلَمَاء عُلَمَاء أَبْرَارٌ أَتْقِيَاء. But during the day, you would see that these muttaqeen, they are halim. Halim, it's the hulama, it's the plural of halim. That is, they are someone who is very tolerant, halim. So muttaqeen, they are extremely tolerant, because when you look into people, when it comes to the dealing with other members of the community, sometimes people, they get on your nerves and you don't know how to handle them. They make you angry. So muttaqeen, with that tolerance that they have within themselves, they handle all these difficult situations that come across in their life. Abrar, they are pious, they are virtuous, they are good. Ulama means they know what is happening. Ulama doesn't necessarily mean that someone has to be extremely highly qualified. They know what they are doing. They are dealing with people. So in that, and during the day, they have to be cautious. Now, one of the ayat that we have in Quran addressing Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah says, "Inna laka fil nahari sabhan tawila." That during the day you have a lot to do. There are so many tasks that you have to do. For that, you rise at night, occupy yourself in worship. And when it comes to worship also, he says that rest a little bit, rise a little bit, sleep a little bit, wake up a little bit, occupy yourself in worship. Why not during the day? Because in the day you have a lot more to do. Inna laka fin nahari sabhan tawila. You have a lot of work during the day, so occupy yourself in worship at night. And during the day also, when you look into muttaqeen, that quality that they carry, قَدْ بَرَأَهُمُ الْخَوْفِ برأ القداح ينظر إليهم الناظر فيحسبهم مرضى. Says that وقتی شما این متقین را میبینید، این شب هنگام اینا مشغول عبادتن، قرآن تلاوت میکنن، ولی در روز که میشه اینا حلیمن، بردبارن. چرا بردبارن؟ افرادی هم که در جامعه وجود دارن بعضی طوری هم که اذیت میکنن، باید دلشون میخواد پاسخ داده بشه ولی پاسخ نمیدن. حلیمن، بردبارن، آگاهن و ابرارن. و وقتی هم که ایشون رو ببینید میبینید که خیلی ترسانن و لاغرن. چرا لاغرن؟ Why are they so weak? Why are they so feeble and skinny? That is, not as a result of some kind of a disease or illness that they have. وَمَا بِالْقَوْمِ مِنْ مَرَضٍ. People, they think there's some kind of a disease they have. No, that is not the reality. It is the worry they have for the morrow, for the tomorrow, for the akhirah, as to whether or not they have fulfilled the commands of the Almighty Allah. They are worried. وَلَقَدْ خَالَطَهُمْ أَمْرٌ عَظِيمٌ لَا يَرْضُونَ مِنْ أَعْمَالِهِمُ الْقَلِيلِ. That what worries them, چیزی که اونا را نگران کرده، اعمالی که انجام داده اند، آیا پذیرفته شده در نزد خدای متعال یا نه؟ حالا اینجا روایات فراوانی داریم، علیکم سلام الله، روایات فراوانی داریم درباره همین که اعمالمون، ما خودمون به عمل خودمون خوشبین و خوشحال نباشیم، چون معلوم نیست کدوم یکی از اعمال ما پذیرفته است. That what is taught to us is that we have no right to be happy that Allah has accepted everything, all of our actions, because we have riwayat. One of the riwayat that we have from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When it comes to this ayah, وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْتُونَ مَا آتَوْا قُلُوبُهُمْ وَجِلَةٌ أَنَّهُمْ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهِمْ رَاجِعُونَ. This ayah from Surah Mu'minun. Whatever you give, there are people who during the day they give charity. In their hearts also they tremble. And why are they worried? Because of their return to the Akhirah, to the Almighty Allah. Now it is narrated here from Rasulullah that someone asked him that this ayah regarding the muttaqeen, that they give charity and sadaqat during the day and their hearts are also worried, does it mean that that worry is because of the wrong and the sins they have done? Rasulullah says no. بل الرجل يصوم ويتصدق ويخاف أن لا يقبل منه. Says that what is worrying them is that they fast, they worship, they do all the good. The worry is that if Allah has accepted that or not. Now what we have in all of these a'mal says that كُونُوا عَلَى قَبُولِ الْعَمَلِ أَشِحَّةٌ. That is, we have to work that the actions that we do, they get accepted by Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Actions have to be accepted. اعمالی که انجام میدیم معلوم نیست خدا اینا را قبول کرده یا نکرده. هدف ما این باید باشه که خدا این را پذیرفته، قبول کرده. اونم که معلوم نیست که خدا قبول کرده یا نه. When we have all these different riwayat regarding the acceptance of amal, and that is why we say that any action you do, you ask Allah that He accepts biqabul and hasan, with a good acceptance. And then the quality that Amir al-Mu'mineen mentions for muttaqeen is that لا يرضون من أعمالهم القليل. The little they do, they are never happy, never satisfied with their actions. وَلَا يَسْتَكْثِرُونَ الْكَثِيرِ. If they do a lot, even then that lot also doesn't make them happy. فهم لأنفسهم متهمون. They constantly accuse themselves. همیشه خودشون رو متهم میکنن. ومن أعمالهم مشفقون. And they are worried of their actions. این اعمالی که انجام داده شد پذیرفته شد یا نه. One of the great ulama of our time who passed away in the early 1980s is Marhum Ayatollah Khunsari. He lived for about 98 years. From the 98 years, he started worshipping and prayers at the age of 5. And throughout his life, he has 3 sets of prayers. Although he was a marja' taqleed himself, he offered his prayers, and then there is another set of prayer that he offered, and then another third set of prayer for his life, 95 years he offered. And then he says that if Allah doesn't accept that first set of my salat, I'll offer him the second. If he says no, not accepted, I'll give him the third. If he says that the third also is not accepted, I would say that I had no more ability to do anything more than that. Now these great personalities, it's like that. Always they are worried که آیا این اعمالشون پذیرفته هست یا نه نزد خدا. این هم صفتی بود که امیرالمؤمنین درباره متقین در همین خطبه متقین که خطبه حمام هم اسمش هست که اومد خدمت امیرالمؤمنین و گفت که صفلی المتقین، متقین را برای من شما شرح بدید، که امیرالمؤمنین شروع کردن این خطبه را و 10 صفتی برای متقین ایشون در این خطبه بیان فرمودند. ان الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تتفكرون. May Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala accept this little service from us. All the hajat that mu'mineen may be having be granted. May Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala hasten in the return of our Imam, our Master, our Hujjah, and count us all among the best of His servants. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Qul huwa Allahu ahad. Allahu samad. Alaykum salam. Lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakun lahu kufuwan ahad. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد. وصلى على علي أمير المؤمنين وعلى الصديقة الطاهرة فاطمة سيدة نساء العالمين وعلى الحسن والحسين وعلي بن الحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة. وصلى على أئمة المسلمين علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والخلف الهادي المهدي. حجتك على عبادك وأمنائك في بلادك صلاة كثيرة دائمة. اللهم وصل على ولي أمرك القائم المؤمل والعدل المنتظر وحفه بملائكتك المقربين وأيده بروح القدس يا رب العالمين. أيها الناس اتقوا الله. Once again I invite myself and you all to taqwa. It is the month of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, and Friday, the day of Imam al-Asr alayhi salam, the day of his return, the day when Allah will gladden all mu'mineen by the presence of Imam al-Asr alayhi salam. And in this month, that what we ask Allah throughout, it is the hastened return of the Imam alayhi salam. And it is that very Imam, when we look into the ziyarat, for example, ziyarat Ali Yasin, there we say that Assalamu alayk hina taqra'u wa tubayyin. That is, it is that Imam who recites the Quran that we recite, Imam recites. As-salam be upon you, O Imam, when you recite and when you explain. Assalamu alayk hina tusalli wa taqnut. Salam be upon you, my master, my Imam, when you offer your prayers and when you recite your qunut. Assalamu alayk hina tarka'u wa tasjud. Salam be upon you when you are in the state of ruku and when you are in the state of sajda. Assalamu alayk hina tuhallilu wa tukabbir. Salam be upon you when you say La ilaha illallah and when you say Allahu Akbar. So throughout we see that it is how Imam al-Asr alayhi salam, he is occupied in worship, in servitude, and in all of these, throughout this ziyarat we have. Among the du'as that we have that is recited every day in the sacred month of Ramadan, it is du'a iftitah. Du'a iftitah, it is a prescription that has been prescribed by the Imam himself. And he says in this sacred month of Ramadan, you recite this dua every day. And in that dua also, towards the end, and that dua, it's the dua of imamat that talks about the entire system of imamat. And towards the end of it also we say, Allahumma inna narghabu ilayka fi dawlatin karima. That Allah, I want in this month, I want to be in that dawlat, that is in the rule of Imam al-Asr alayhi salam. A rule which is beautiful, a rule which is magnificent, a rule in which Muslims will be dignified, a rule in which kuffar and mushrikeen and the opponents and the enemies of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala, they will be disgraced. That is what we wish. And in these du'as that we recite, one of them is Allahumma adkhil ala ahli al-qubur as-surur. Now this also, it's such a magnificent dua when you say that Allah make the dwellers of the grave happy. You don't say that only the Muslims, only the Shias. No. Allahumma adkhil ala ahli al-qubur as-surur. That is every dweller of every grave. May he be faithful, may he be faithless. That is upon Allah, how He wants to make them happy, either by elevating their ranks or removing their adab. It is the month of Allah where He says that because of this month, I will make them happy. Now in this dua also we see that Allahumma shfi kulla mareed, ki Khuda hame marza ra shifa bide, Khuda hame guzashtegan ra khushhalishun kon, Khudaya hame bicharegan ra mushkilishun hal kon. Everyone who is in need, Allah ease them. So we see that it's a big dua. Nothing has happened till now. We see there are so many people who are ill, there are so many people who are suffering, there are so many people who are still in troubles and pain. So when is this dua going to be accepted? For the past 1400 years, we have been asking Allah for the same things. It hasn't materialized. This dua also, in a way, it is dua faraj. Allahumma adkhil ala ahli al-qubur, until the end of it is dua faraj also. Because all of those du'as will materialize during the time of Imam al-Asr alayhi salam. So Imam's return, the era, the age that he will be in, that is the best of days, the best of times, the best of eras. Now when we see that people, especially in the social media and all these films that are being made up for the end of time and then portraying the Messiah as someone terrifying, someone scary, someone angry, that is all wrong. Imam al-Asr alayhi salatu wassalam is the same descendant of Rasulullah, who is rahmatun lil alameen. Rasulullah is all mercy. Imam al-Asr is also all mercy. It is that kindness of the Imam alayhi salam that is seen, that is envisaged in throughout. And now the enemies, we see that they are portraying a negative picture of the end of time. It is first of all not the end of time. End of time is in reality an era which is going towards a better life. That is when, just like we upgrade our systems, upgrade our livings to a better living, end of time or the return of Imam al-Asr alayhi salam is also moving from a time to a better time, and that is the best of times. It's the presence of Imam al-Asr alayhi salatu wassalam. Now what we have to look into in this sacred month of Ramadan and reciting all of these du'as and also asking Allah to bond us, to strengthen this mahabbat that we have towards the Imam alayhi salatu wassalam, beautiful statements we have. I should see that Imam al-Asr alayhi salam is close to me. Everything is a lesson to myself and to you brothers and sisters, a reminding. I see that how close am I to Imam myself, and that has to be seen, that my actions, how much do they resemble the Imam? Is he happy with me or is he not? As it was mentioned in the first khutbah, mu'mineen, they are always worried as to whether or not their actions have been accepted or not. The same thing is in the presence of Imam. That what we ask Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala is to make the Imam happy of every one of us. Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salatu wassalam, he says that Imam Mahdi, he is Waheed, he is Gharib, he is Tareeb. Now, Waheed means all alone, tanhas, khayli tanhas. Gharib, yani someone who is alienated, yani kesi ke rande shode. Hala chera intori shode, barachi, why is he all alone? Why is he alienated? Now, one of the du'as that was just recited here, this ziyarat of Imam al-Asr on Friday, there it says that Assalamu alayka ayyuhal muhazzabul khaif. That is, salam be upon you. Muhazzab means pure. Khaif means scared. Why is Imam scared? He is not. He shouldn't be scared. Nabat kibetar se Imam. Scared because you and me have been given the freedom of life, that we are living freely. We are living freely. That freedom has been taken away from Imam. He cannot live like you and me, cannot be seen by everyone. Allah has put a ghaibat on him. Now, khaif means that Imam cannot stay in one location. Now, I'm living in a location for the past so many years, everyone knows where I live. You live and everyone knows where you are living. Nowadays, it's even easier. You can share your location, people can get to you and you can get to them easily. Imam cannot do that. So that khawf is because all of these forces from the humans and the jinn that are against the Imam, and somehow they want to cause harm and damage to the Imam. That is why we say muhazzabul khaif. Or in ziyarat al yasin also it's a similar word, al ayyuhal murtaqibul khaif. That is someone who is on the watch out, someone who is all aware, but at the same time he is afraid of all those forces that are acting against the Imam. Imam is alone. So we have to do something, that people should be so many, that what resulted in the ghaibat and the taking away of the Imam was lack of support. There were not supporters during the time of Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam. From that time when they started killing all of the Imams, from the time of Imam al-Jawad, this was officially a task of all the Imams, that people have to be trained to live a life without an Imam. So the 9th Imam, the 10th, the 11th, they all came, they trained the people, educated them, that a time is coming to you that you have to learn to live without the Imam. Another hadith says that this era of ghaibat of Imam alayhi salam that we are living in, it is the era of ghadab, the era of rage of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Says that إِذَا غَضِبَ اللَّهُ, if Allah, he is angry or he is enraged from the creation, nahana an rahmatih. That is, Allah, he takes us away, takes the Imams away from the people. So in a way, people have been put into this era of ghadab and the wrath and rage of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala due to their own actions, as a result of which Imam has been taken away. So Imam al-Sadiq says, our Mahdi, he is Waheed, he is Gharib, he is Tareeb. So he is Tareeb means he is wandering around. Now all of these mu'mineen who have visited the Imam or who had these visitations with the Imam, They say that a khayma, a tent was seen when Imam was seen. Why does the Imam have to live in a tent? Why does he have to wander around like that? Why not a proper dwelling like you and me? Now, besides this intizar that we have, waiting for the Imam alayhi salam, there is another term that we find in all of these du'as, is that irtibat has to be there with the Imam, which is necessary. Irtibat means a connection with the Imam, and we are duty bound to have this irtibat with the Imam alayhi salam. Not just that to see him or to know his aim and to make him happy, to seek his nearness or rida. No. Now in all of these du'as, in Ziyarat Al Yasin, وَمْنُنْ عَلَيْنَا بِرِضَى, Allah grant us his satisfaction. Make it as such that Imam is happy with me. Imam azma raziyan. وَدُعَاءَهُ وَهَبْ لَنَا رَأْفَتَهُ وَرَحْمَتَهُ. Allah bestow on us the affection, the mercy and his supplication. یعنی طوری بشه که امام از ما خوشحال باشن، امام از ما راضی باشن و دعای امام در حق ما باشه که امام وقتی دعا کنن در حق ما، دعاشون مقبول است، پذیرفته است. و این تمام این اعمالی که ما انجام میدیم هدفمون همون قبول عمل باشه، که در قبول عمل، قبول دعای امام سلام الله علیه در شکی نیست که وقتی امام گوشه چشمی به ما بکنن دیگه ما نیازی به چیزی نداریم. که اونجا اون طلبه در نجف بود که خیلی فقیر بود و اومد خدمت امیرالمؤمنین، اومد اونجا توسل داشت به امیرالمؤمنین. And he used to come and say to Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ya Ali, I'm struggling here, and I've come here to study. You do something for me. And Imam says that go to India. Go to India and you'll go to, this is the address where you have to go to. And when you get to that place and you knock at the door, you just tell that person after greeting him, Be'asiman ravadu kare aftab kunan. He comes to one of the ulama there in Najaf and says that I'm struggling, I'm, financially I'm dead. And I was having this tawassul with Amir al-Mu'mineen, and yesterday Amir al-Mu'mineen has given this task to me that you travel to India. I haven't got anything to live here, and he wants me to have an international trip. So go to India, this is the address you will go to. When you knock at the door, you greet them, and the moment they open the door, just tell them, it will go to the skies and do the task of the sun. Now, this alim, he says that if Imam has said that, definitely there is some hikmat in it, and he must have made the arrangements. He says that I will avail the funds that you travel to India. He says he comes there, knocks at the door, and he was one of those princes in Hyderabad of India. And the moment he opens the door, he greets, says this one sentence. He says, how did you know that? How did you get to this? Come and sit here. And he hosts him for 3 days. 3 روز مهمان خاصش بود. بعد 3 روز گفت که من یه شعری گفته بودم به ذره گر نظر لطف بود راب کند. And I got stuck in the second stanza of it. I couldn't say what the second sentence could be. I invited all these poets from India to come and help, because in India at that time Farsi was the official language. No one had an answer to that. And then I say that I have one daughter, I am so wealthy, and whosoever gives me the second phrase of this poem, I will wed this daughter of mine to him, and half of my wealth I will give it to him. And you gave me that sentence, and this is my vow, my nazar that I had, and I'm going to wed my daughter to you, and half of my wealth will be yours. Now this Amir al-Mu'mineen helps out someone so poor in such a magnificent way. That is our Imam, the concept of Imamat that we have. Imam al-Asr alayhi salatu wassalam is also the same descendant of the same Imam, same son of the same Imam, and du'as of that Imam, they are accepted by Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. وَدُعَاءَهُ وَهَبْ لَنَا رَأْفَتَهُ وَرَحْمَتَهُ. that Allah bestow upon us His mercy, His du'as, His supplication, His affection. Now, among the other things that we have to observe in this sacred month of Ramadan is that the concept of imamat has to be understood. That is, we believe in the oneness of God, we believe in the justice of God, we believe in the risalat, we believe in the imamat as well. Now Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam says, Ana shams wa aliyun al-qamar. Says, I am the sun and Ali is the moon. Wa Fatimatu Zahra wal Hasan wal Hussein al-Farqadan. That you see that Ali is the moon, and where there is no access to the sun, you get light from the moon. So here, when Rasulullah is not present, you have to get help from Amirul Mu'mineen. When Amirul Mu'mineen is not present, his son Imam al-Asr alayhi salam, you have to get help from him. And then he says, وَكِتَابُ اللَّهِ لَا يَفْتَرِقَانِ حَتَّى يَرِدَ عَلَيَّ الْحَوْضِ. Now this Imam, that is Amirul Mu'mineen, and the sons of Ali and Fatima, and the book of Allah that I am leaving behind, they are going to be together. They will not separate from one another until they arrive at the pond on the day of judgment. So if we want salvation, we want success and prosperity, it is that with Quran and the Ahlul Bayt, both of them have to be accepted. Now, one of the other beautiful statements that we have here, now Rasulullah says, I am the sun, Ali is the moon. Man aftabam, aliyam mahtab. Quran mi farmaya, wan nahari idha jallaha. Yani sogan, the roos angah ke zameen ra roshan mi sazad. Wal layl idha yaghshaha. And that is when I swear by the night when it draws the veil. Yani sogan bishab angah ke zameen ra bepushanad. Now you've got a day, you've got a night. So the sun, when it rises, it doesn't rise all of a sudden. So the sun was there, the sun set, the Prophet, he passed away. Now it's the moon that has to rise. The moon also, or the sun also, when it wants to rise, it doesn't rise all of a sudden. It has to come to a point of Fajr, and from that point of Fajr until the sun rises, there is a time there. Here when you look into these riwayat, we see that this era of ghaibat of the Imam alayhi salam, it's like the sunset. So after the sun setting, the sun has to rise. So we are going through a difficult phase, which is the night. Now this night also, when it draws closer to the morning and until the time of that sunrise, this era that we are living in, it is that era of Fajr, that is the sunrise of Imam al-Asr alayhi salatu wasalam. So it will not rise all of a sudden. So it is towards the rising of the sun. Now when you look into the riwayat, it says يَخْرُجُ قَوْمٌ مِّن قِبَلِ الْمَشْرِقِ فَيُوَطِّئُونَ لِلْمَهْدِي سُلْطَانَهُ. That is a nation, they will rise and they will avail all of these introductions for the return of the Imam. Now we see this is what is happening in the Middle East after the Islamic Revolution. This cry for Ya Mahdi and Ya Sahib al-Zaman has intensified globally everywhere. People recognize Imam al-Asr. May that be in Iran, may that be in Iraq, in Afghanistan, in Pakistan. Entire Muslim world, the awareness has increased. People know more about the return of the Imam alayhi salam. Now all of these beautiful statements we have from the Ma'asumeen alayhi salam that give us a lot of hope that the return is soon, and in this era of the return of the Imam alayhi salam, we also have to ask Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala that we are on the right path, firm, waiting for the Imam, and that we do not swerve or shift or even turn away from the path of the Imam and all these tests and trials that we see. Now, in one of these visitations that we have, someone who saw Imam al-Asr in Masjid Jamkara, he says that I had water in my hand, and the name is Muhammad Ali Fishandi. He says, I had water in my hand and I offered that to Imam alayhi salam. And Imam took the cup from me and he said to me that this water that everyone is in need of, if people had that desire and waited for us like they need that water, this zuhur and the return would have taken place long ago. So people, they don't want us, they don't trust us, or they don't have that faith and bond they should be having, that they need the Imam, the desire is lacking. So that need of the Imam is lacking and we have to work on that. Now, one of the ways how you can do it is that we are fasting. تمام روزه که روزه میگیریم موقع افطار که وقتی میخوایم روزه را افطار کنیم، خب نماز که میخونیم، سوره را میخونیم، دعای افطار را میخونیم، قبل از اینکه این خرما رو بزنیم تو دهنمون بگیم یا صاحب الزمان ادرکنی. Yani a little connection with the Imam at the time of iftar, that Ya Sahib al-Zaman adrikni, help me. Every little thing that we do, it should be as such that this bond and the connection with the Imam alayhi salam, it has to be present. When we have all these little connections with the Imam, for every little thing, you want to stand up, you say Ya Sahib al-Zaman. You want to sit down, you say Ya Sahib al-Zaman. Now, generally people do call Abul Fazl and Abbas and Ya Ali, all that is good. Now, Imam al-Asr is the living Imam that we have, and that special connection with the Imam also has to be there. Ya Allah, between us, Quran and Ahlul Bayt, never ever come across a moment of separation. Ya Allah, our children to be enlisted among the best of Muslims who ever existed. Ya Allah, hasten in the return of our Imam, our Master, our Hujjah. Make it as such that he is happy with us, happy with our amal, happy with our actions. All the flaws and the shortfalls that we have in our amal, definitely we know that we have a shortfall, O God. By Imam al-Asr alayhi salam, you correct all the shortfalls and remove all the hurdles that we have in our life. Ya Allah, all those who are ill and ailing, grant them shifa. All those who have passed away, Allah, forgive them, elevate their ranks. Ya Allah, our children to be enlisted among the best of Muslims. وَعَجِّلْ فِي فَرَجِ مَوْلَانَا صَاحِبَ الزَّمَانِ إِنَّ Allah. So, بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد